What is going on YouTube? Hope you guys are well. Welcome to another video. Today we're training legs again. So if you've ever wondered how often you really need to train to maximize your leg growth, for example, or arms or whatever other muscle, I'm going to break that down for you today. Stick around if you want to get smarter with your programming. First exercise, glute drive. We're focusing on one leg at a time today. So single leg to start the session with. But before I go into my first working set, I've already done 2 sets. I want to tell you a little bit about mechanical tension. What is it? Mechanical tension is one of the main drivers for muscle growth. It's the force that your muscles and my muscles experience when we are contracting under heavy loads. So another thing that's very important to that is also the force-velocity relationship, which is how fast we move under that load. But we'll talk about that another day. And so going to this topic in terms of how many exercises you need to be doing and the smarter way of programming is you need to think about that your first set, my first set, is going to be where I'm the freshest. As the session goes on and the sets accumulate, fatigue will build up. And we are not going to be able to generate as much mechanical tension as we do at the beginning of the session. So it's key that you really understand that. If you understand what mechanical tension is, and if you understand that as we go into the session, we're going to get more fatigue, we're not going to get as much as we want out of that mechanical tension because of the fatigue that we build up over the amount of sets that we're doing. So that's really going to dictate how many sets in a session are going to be ideal for muscle growth. Now, let's get training. Five reps. Let's match that on the other side. That felt incredible. All right, second working set. Let's see what we can get out of this. Ideally, 4 to 5 reps would be what I want to do. And I'm going to leave you with this question to ask yourself before I do this. When was the last time you trained, for example, glutes? How many days ago was that? Was it 4 or 5 days ago? Because it feels like 5, 6 days ago. By the time you come to train this movement again, you've probably have already lost some muscle. Bear that in mind. Okay, so we're moving on to glute cable press down, single leg again. We need these trusted straps, which then allows me to do this exercise. So, usual training plans that you've probably doing yourself already or you've seen people doing typically means training one muscle group per week. So for example, legs, you go in on a Monday, you do legs, then the rest of the week might be chest, shoulders and triceps another day, then it might be back and biceps another day, and then it might be arms another day. By the time Monday rolls around again, you're going to do legs again. So this would mean that protein synthesis would stay elevated the entire week. However, guys, research now shows that muscles return to a catabolic state within 72 hours. That basically means after 72 hours, for example, I'm doing legs today, in 72 hours time, if I don't activate those muscles again, if I don't create more mechanical tension within those muscles again, I'm now going to be in breakdown of those muscles. Catabolic means breaking down, meaning I'm losing muscle. The muscles are atrophying. I hate that word, atrophying. It's horrible. But basically, they're breaking down. So if I'm going to wait another week for that to happen, basically I build muscle, or I'm trying to create hypertrophy, and then they're breaking down. So by the time I go and do it again, I'm just bringing it back to where it was prior. So I'm actually not progressing at all. So this is where smarter planning really comes into place. How often do you hit your legs, for example? How often do you hit your chest, for example, depending on what you're trying to really improve? Bear in mind, 72 hours is how long it takes for the muscle to start going back into that catabolic state. Right, so last time on this we got 85 for 8. So I'm gonna add a kilo to each side and see if we can get 86. I'm only doing one working set on each on this one, which take total working sets now to glutes to 3. Yep, there we go. Let's do this. Five reps. Honestly, guys, on this exercise, like any other exercise, really important to keep things stable. Very easy here as I'm coming down to arch my lower back and kind of just do this, which is what I see a lot of people doing. That takes massively away from the glute. Lower back takes the brunt of the work. So really try your best to minimize any movement through this. Keep your core tight. The other thing is as well, you want to stand in the middle. You want your leg to come across you to that side to really lengthen that glute. Two key points when doing this exercise. Let's go to the other side. Now, another thing that you might be thinking about, especially when it comes, for example, improving a body part, you'll say, okay, cool, your goal is to work your glutes and really improve your glutes. So you're going to train them a little bit more often. You're not going to leave 7 days in between them. Fantastic. But why only do, for example, 3 working sets on glutes when potentially you can do a lot more, for example, 5, 6, 7 working sets on glutes in that particular session and then hit that again in 3 days' time as an example? And that's a valuable question. But remember I said to you at the beginning of this video about mechanical tension, and that mechanical tension will start to be affected as the session goes on. When you do subsequent sets, we are creating fatigue. And so set 1, I'm going to be the freshest. I'm going to get the most mechanical tension. Set 2, I'm going to get a little bit less. Set 3, even a little bit more less, right? And so set 4 will be even worse. Set 5 will be even worse. So the more I go into it, the less it's becoming mechanical tension that I want. And so that is going to be counterproductive in the long run because I'm going to create a lot of fatigue, which potentially could still be around by the time I come and train glutes again. And if I create fatigue, I'm not going to get the mechanical tension that I want to be able to grow that muscle. So that's, again, when volume comes into play, this is key. We need to make sure that we recovering from that. Now, everybody's a little bit different when it comes to recovery. For me, I know for a fact that any more than 3 to 4 working sets on a muscle in a particular session is going to then create issues down the line, the next session that I come to doing. And even affects, for example, if I'm going to train upper body tomorrow, it's going to affect that as well because it's going to create fatigue. So how much work you do today, tomorrow will have an impact on your upper body training session, for example. So I want to just hit the muscle enough to be able to create that anabolic state and actually grow some muscle and not damage the muscle, which is counterproductive. And so now that I've done that, I don't want to do any more. So now I'm just going to go into quads. I'm going to do 2 working sets here on the leg extension. I'm going to just create some mechanical tension on there. The goal's not really quads today, it was glutes. That's why it was the first 2 exercises. This is more maintenance work. I'm then moving on to an hamstring exercise, 1 working set. Moving on to an adductor exercise, 1 working set. And that's just touching. Remember the anabolic state? I want to touch it and then come back again in 3 days' time. I don't want to be in that catabolic state at all when it comes to most muscles, but especially the glutes. And so I don't need a huge amount of fatigue going into tomorrow's session, and then I will have a day off, and then I want to come back and train legs again. So I want to make sure that I'm fully recovered from my sessions so I can get the most out of it. Okay, so we've done one warm-up set on here. We're going to do another one, and then we'll go for our main working set. And with this one, I'm actually trying to really focus on the contraction. So I want to hold at the top for at least a second or so. That's it, and now we're going to go for our working set. Right, got 105 for 6 on this last time. I use this on my working set, so I really want to get nice and high. And the belt is priority because stabilization is key in most exercises, and this really allows me to keep my bottom on this seat and not take the weight into my knees, which we definitely don't want. Okay, I still want to grab those handles as well. Come on, 7 reps, let's go. Hell yes. I'm happy with that. Good. And here's the beauty of creating content. I just finished my seated leg curl and I was talking to the camera. Thought I was being very professional, telling you all about how the seated leg curl is a great exercise, giving you some tips on that. It wasn't recording. But we'll record this one for sure. 205 for 7 on this last time, pretty much full stack. I would love to get 8. Obviously, it's the last exercise, so fatigue is definitely kicking in now. We'll get what we get. All right, let's do this. Ooh. 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 Come on, Elder. 7, we matched it. That's it, session done, guys. So, based on today's topic, how often do you train? Hopefully this video was helpful and you've took something away from it. Let me know in comments if you have. Let me know in comments if you've got any questions. And as per usual, like, subscribe, comment, share if you want. Actually, not if you want, you must share. Just kidding, I won't come for you. And thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Let's keep growing together.